All right, we're here once again rating stuff. We've got Admech up to date. This is Damien's baby, so we'll see how long this one goes because we know that he's a freaking talker over here. He's 10 times more of a talker than me, and that Eldar one was like 30 minutes you watched yesterday, right? So, yeah, if you don't know what we're doing, make sure you subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you get all the updates and things like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to be ranking Admech on these 6 statistics to give them an overall score, and then we're going to fit that into the tier list. Yeah, so Damien, defense, we're starting it off with you, man. What do we got?
Well,
yeah, and before you jump in, we kind of gave these guys the gut check based on our playing and your experience, and they rank top of the pops, right? So I'd love to see when we put the numbers to the rubber how that meets what we saw kind of on our gut check tier list, and if it really meets up. Because I mean, the internet, did they have any kind of pushback on S Plus for Admech, or were they saying
I did not see anything.
I didn't see anything about Admech.
If you haven't seen Admech shoot, you don't know what's happening until you take all your miles off the table. But defensively, what do they got? Like they're strong, right? They got the canticles. They got a lot of toughness, vehicles.
Which the canticle itself, like being able to have cover on all your vehicles and things like that, is pretty unprecedented right now. Like most vehicles just flat out don't get cover. Right?
Yeah. If you're not running some special chapter that just gives you cover, then you don't get cover on vehicles, right? No. So it's a big for the tanks.
And I mean, so there are definitely a lot of units though in Admech that are not very strong, like defensively. They're kind of hoardish in a way like that, where you just pick baubles up. So that's where you kind of do have to be careful of what guns you want them to shoot into whatever things, and you try to feed people target priority like that. Mobility, they're actually really, really, really fast, faster than you'd expect, and a lot of that though does come from stratagems and things like that.
Yeah, so surprisingly, and defense doesn't have to necessarily be like a model. How hard it is to kill an individual model. Being able to run and hide, or be able to move up and get position, or have a good cover save can really add to your durability.
Yeah, so you've got the dogs who can run out there and screen. That's a huge defensive tactic. And then if they get charged, they can run away and not be charged.
Yeah, they're great for pulling those initial primary objectives where you want to shoot at the heavy tanks in the back that are killing you, or you got to get rid of these guys on the objective. The dogs are difficult to shift. There's a lot of wounds there. You can't readily charge them because they can back off. They move super fast. They have a pregame move. So defensively, though, I mean, where are we ranking this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Dude, they can turn off auras. Let's not forget that.
Is that defense or is that offense?
Dude, that's both. Like
it's actually both.
Like defensively being able to turn off certain auras, like that's
so you can't re-roll when you shoot at me, stuff like that.
Or are you gonna you have a mortal wound bubble aura? I'm gonna turn that off and now shoot you with all these mortal wounds. Yes.
Well, just defensively, like Brad's talking about. So if I know that I'm gonna fly over there and I'm gonna seismic bomb you, right? That's another thing, is they can tremor shell something. So defensively, right? Like that is that unit, right? And that can be specific to a target character if you wanted to.
I mean,
so then that character gets shut down where he's not giving you any rerolls for something.
Osterman's invuln save that he gives to everything in Eldar, you just turn it off and nothing has invulns.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
it's crazy.
I honestly think that the army is and then of course you have like Dacabots and things like. If anybody's ever shot at a Dacabot with a well, just defensively, like Dacabots, like they're so
they shoot mortal wounds back at you, right, on saves.
Yeah, that's so right.
Like
that's exactly
that's a huge defensive thing. It's like, oh, you shot me, I rolled a 6 on my save, you get hurt.
Brad, how many mortal wounds did that?
Did your
like
five,
take one
like
time?
5 or 7 or something. It was a lot.
so many. I lost the game, but it was still that was a cool thing.
More wounds than it did to the Dacabot.
Yeah. So it's like sometimes you just question shooting them because you're going to take damage.
That's true, potentially.
So a 10? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know, man.
I'm not hearing any negatives.
The only do they have feel no pains and do they have invulns?
Every unit
has an invuln. Every single unit has an invuln. Feel no pains? No. So you can take one off.
So 9.
Probably a 9.
Give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so then offense. We've kind of gone through it a little bit, but
it's a 10. We don't even need to
You
talk
just
about
leave it.
it.
Metric butt ton of shooting, right? And
Yeah.
then with the new Psychic Awakening, you can even add more to that with some of the explode character stuff. So,
and if you're not playing dogs, guys, I cannot tell this to you enough. You need the dadgum sniper dogs in your army list. Just
you're
make
not doing
it.
it right. You're just not doing it right.
You're just not doing it right. Those things will. I mean, a squad alone could literally make a character.
They'll change your life. Those damn good things.
Yeah, so.
One way or the other. Whatever side of the table you're on, you're gonna hate your life.
And then the planes as well. Like, we're not even really talked about the planes yet, but those bomber planes, those things are horrendous, man. They're horrendous. Anyway, so I think 10. Primary.
So, how have they been doing on primary?
So in my games, like, it just, I would put it at probably like
and
7 or an 8.
This does not include you just wiping people off the table in order to max your primary.
Exactly. That's why I would put it down. It is kind of actually, you know what? I'd probably put it at 7 for sure.
7.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of the same thing as like the Space Marines, right? Like you're moving stuff in certain ways to go hold objectives, or you're moving them to possibly be able to shoot stuff. You know,
the only thing that kind of makes
stay in a bubble.
Dogs. Yeah, are dogs, because they can stay out and hold the objectives in the middle of the field, and I don't care if they live or die. I just don't.
Right.
Which, if I didn't have dogs, it would be probably down to like a 5. But the dogs make the army have a great deal of mid-board control.
And you can load boats up with guys as well, which is a similar tactic to a lot of other armies. Like, a lot of armies can do that, but the dogs definitely set them apart and give them the extra stuff.
Yeah.
The dogs are just this multi-threat. They're just this unit you can't ignore. They're very difficult to kill. They all have invulnerable saves with so many wounds. I can't tell you how many times I'm just annoyed by the dog. And then, you run them in big units, right? So they don't really care about morale. And again, it's crazy to come up and say, well, I don't even care if that unit lives or dies. Because if you're shooting at those things, you're not shooting at the things that he wants to destroy you with, right? And which is like, I got to get rid of these dogs. And then now I don't have any models left because he's shooting me. So, yeah, they're really good on. And, again, he's kind of pushing his other units up to grab the objectives. So it's can you get in there? And you can't go touch the robots like you used to and just shut them off.
They go brat.
They'll just blast you in.
Well, and they allocate the attacks accordingly. So they'll be like, okay, I put 1 Dakabot into this one little unit that you touch me with, and 3 Dakabots into what I want to actually shoot at still.
Yeah.
So he kills them, and then he gets to do it. So you just hope he underestimates, and then he gets to shoot.
So then, how easy is it? So let's do this in a question and answer. How easy is it for you to choose your secondaries with Admech?
I think that's a 10 for me, to be honest.
You just automatically have your secondaries. I'm always struggling. I'll sit there for 20 minutes trying to figure out my third secondary every damn time, and then I get so mad when my opponent's just like, "Yep, I'm picking these 3."
I feel like Admech
but we
give up secondaries.
That we give up with that. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Easy for me to choose, but I do give them up.
And really,
which ones are you typically giving up?
Because we have so many vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So you give up Bring It Down, like, always.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what kind of list you do with Admech, like, you're gonna have some kind of, even though there's tons of different kinds of vehicles, you're gonna have vehicles in there, and they're either gonna begin. And so if you have a ton of little vehicles, you're gonna be given 2 points a model, which still adds up pretty quickly, or you're gonna be giving up the bigger vehicles at 3 points. So.
But that's really probably all that you really give up easy. Nothing else is really being given up. So, like,
because we don't have a ton of characters. Usually like run 1 or 2 characters.
You're gonna be able to kill. You're gonna be able to kill everything. So you're gonna be able to pick whatever killing secondary you need. You're gonna be able to go and assassinate stuff if you have to with like the planes on turn 1 if they deploy wrong. Like,
usually
engage on all fronts. Yeah,
super
easy.
And I feel like there's quite a few different ones that I'm able to pick. Like if I between like grind them down or between assassinate or aboard the witch. And that's the other thing. Like anytime somebody has more like 3 or more psychers, I'm like, freebie points. That's 15 points for Dame.
Yeah.
Like which is very strong for them for secondary.
Yeah, for Admech not to rely on any psychers at all, so that Abhor the Witch is just one of those opportunities. If somebody has lots of psychers in their list, to just go ham. I mean, that's really strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking a 9 then?
Yeah, CP farm is where it's gonna drain us big time, because we are so we have to use them. Like once we run out of CP, it's a
The
different.
wheels kind of fall off the bus. That's right.
It's a different army.
So you have to use them, but the ones that you're using are really good, so they weigh each other out. How much do you have to spend like pregame and stuff like that?
I have 10 to start with usually.
So you're
10 or
only
11.
so you're only spending 1 to 2 pregame, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
And then typically, how many turns does your CP last until you're out?
Like turn 3.
So like that's not bad. Like that's not that bad.
I'm done by 3.
Yeah, but I mean, the effect it has on his army, if he has just like mopped you up by then, like it starts to be a big turning point. So I would put him in the 4 or 5, quite honestly.
Oh wow.
Like if you have like an assassin or something that like can force them to spend extra CP early on, like it really starts weighing in their mind. Are they going to pop this thing this turn, and it could be out of CP on turn 2, and I think that's a big deal. Do you disagree?
No, I mean if like we said, yeah, if I don't have CP, it's a different army. Period. Like
so, are we good with 5? Are we thinking it needs to be different?
I do think though, the thing is that the only reason why I would say it'd be a little bit higher is because of the power of the stratagems, like Wrath of Mars, for example, right? If I have Wrath of Mars, if I have 2 CP, like, and a couple Dacabots, or even just one Dacabot, they're still just completely eradicating things. I don't know.
I feel like 5 is. I think the lowest I would go is a 6, just because the stratagems that he has are so strong.
Yeah, he does have a myriad of stratagems too. Like there's along the breadth. It's not like 1 or 2 that he uses and that's it. There's a lot of obscure stratagems that you're like, I bust this out. Like that's what we talk about. What's the metric? You're like, let me see your butt because I don't believe you. Like that.
Yeah.
They have tons of stratagems that are like, and they're useful. That's the thing. Like they're pretty darn cheap. That's the other thing about their stratagems. Like you can use a ton of stratagems in one turn because they're only like 1 or 2 CP.
But you're saying that your army is so reliant on it.
Yeah.
That it's weaker than all the other positives.
I mean, it
outweighs it, right? Because his army starts functioning way different when he runs out of CP because he's got stratagems he's relying on.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I run out of CP, if I haven't done what I need to do by the time I run out of CP, it's going to be either a really close game or I'm going to lose.
Okay.
To be honest.
So list flexibility. I honestly think this is a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like they have so much crap to pick from that do radically different things.
But I know we know Damien has his kind of list that he's been working on, his archetype, but like, are we seeing tons of different types of Admech builds, or are they all just gravitate?
Wildly different.
I've seen a lot, Bird. I've seen people doing the boat run, like Brad was talking about earlier. I've seen
Electro Priest spam.
I've seen a lot of Electro Priest stuff. I've seen. I've actually even seen a ton of not dragoons, onagers. Like people have been spamming
people. That is a huge thing right now. The only thing that I am not seeing right now is what was prevalent in 8th, which is like the plasma, like destroyers and breachers and stuff like that. So like those have taken a hiatus, but if the meta shifts and those need to come back, like they come back, right?
Well, and I don't even think that they couldn't be used right now. It's just people are experimenting with all this other stuff because there are like some things that you could do right now. Remember that first game that we played where I had a bunch of them, like, and we actually filmed the bat rep because those new, like, I think there are some builds in there where you can use those destroyers and you could use those breachers and have real builds. I just haven't gone down that road yet. You can put it a 9 or a 10. Bird, do you think it should be a 9 or less than that?
I think 9's good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff there.
Okay.
And again, kind of coupled with everything else, they can adapt to whatever is relevant.
All right, are you ready?
And they can use knights though. That is another thing. They can use knights in their actual build.
But that's
We all
okay.
know that.
Knights are unplayable, so that's like you're going down to like 2 points now that you brought that up. You just lost
That's
points.
fair. No, we need to lose points. Take those points off.
No.
Put a knight in there. You have to see here.
What are we at?
You're at 48, tied with
Oh,
Craft World.
It's tied at S. Oh, he dropped down, not even to the S. Oh, what have we done?
I disagree. No, I think it is what it is.
I mean, it's the CP thing. The CP thing is what got you, man. It's the CP in the primary, right? But like this was the CP's your biggest hurt.
Well, but it's true though. It is absolutely true. Maybe there are some builds that don't require as much CP. Maybe it's just my particular build that requires a ton of CP. So we'll have to see.
All right, cool. Well, that does it for Admech. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, turn the bell on, and we see you next time.